Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Alison at Starzology. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the planets. I'll be talking about the moon, and I'm specifically going to be speaking about how the moon, your mother and food are all combined together and work as one. That the influence of the moon as an indicator for your mother in your chart is very strong, and also how even years gone by, since you were a kid and you're now grown up, the influence of her food choices on you as a child are still reflected in the way you live today. So let's just start with the first things first. So what is a moon sign? Well, in every chart, every person will have a moon placement, much as you have a sun placement, or you're an Aries and your sun is in Aries, or you're a Taurus and your sun is in Taurus. Your moon will also have its own sign. So although you may be a sun in Aries, you may actually have then, say, a moon in Virgo or a moon in Capricorn, and it really can be in any of the 12 signs. And if you have your chart cast, you can actually see which sign your moon is in. So let's just get that straight. You've got the sun in one sign, the moon is in another, and this is what we're going to be looking at today. Of course, taking that further, all the planets will actually be in their own signs anyway, but today we're just going to look at the moon, and specifically how the moon relates to your mother, early conditioning, and how it affected food. This is a blog post I wrote a while ago, and it's proving very popular because people can actually relate. It's something we do every day. We're all eating, we're getting through, we all have a mother, and that relationship can sometimes be super easy, or sometimes it's actually fraught with tension or whatever, or there's some distance there. So I have a short list with me, and I'm just going to discuss how each of the different moon signs that you may have will actually affect you. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the different moon placements that we can have. So on my little list here, when the moon is in Aries, your mother says, eat it while it's hot, as she places a sizzling plate in front of you. So if your moon is in Aries, your mother is providing you scorching hot food. Aries is a fire sign. It's zingy, it's quick, it's important, and I actually experienced this myself. My mother herself had her moon in Aries, and she would put a plate down in front of me as a child that you could feel the heat coming off it. Stuff was still virtually cooking on the plate. She was a great believer in actually warming the plates before dinner, and they liked the hot stuff, the barbecues, fried this, grilled that, anything to do with flames, and that's the moon in Aries. So your moon in Taurus, mother says, don't gulp your meal. Take your time and taste the food, because Taurus is the sign that has to do with, through its rulership of Venus, to do with the taste buds, and anything that has Venus related will show taste. So for Taurus moon people, the actual taste of the food is important, and that might seem obvious to some people, but a lot of people just shove it down and can't tell the difference between chicken or fish or steak or whatever. But for Taurus, it really is all about the taste. And if the meal does not taste good, they actually won't eat it. So that's an interesting thing there, that if you do have a moon in Taurus, you really are better off choosing perhaps better restaurants with smaller portions, which are absolutely exquisite meals, and you will enjoy them as well. Then we have the moon in Gemini, mother. Drumming her fingers, she says, hurry up and finish your dinner. I want the table for our jigsaw puzzle. Because Gemini is an air sign, and it's quick, and it's a sign of thinking, whereas Gemini is likely to say, hurry up, be quick, finish your meal, just eat because you have to survive, because I actually want to use the table where you're sitting for doing the jigsaw puzzle afterwards. She was feeding you because virtually, I don't want to say she had to, but she had a different plan. She was actually going to use the table for something else. Another thing that Gemini also likes to do, Gemini moon, with is eat tapas bars, where you've got little bits of everything, little bits of variety. Think jigsaw puzzle pieces, vol au vents, hors d'oeuvre, anything that comes in bits and bobs. That's what Gemini moon people like. Okay. So when the moon is in Cancer, your mother, as she pats your hand, says, I prepared your favourite recipe, so when you eat it, it will make me feel good. So moon in Cancer people have a mother who will prepare foods and put love into it, but she will herself feel good about providing this wonderful, wholesome meal for you. And this is more likely the sign, more than any other, that will actually overload your plate and say, eat up, eat up, eat up. So if you do have a moon in Cancer, you can watch out for that trait coming through. The moon in Leo mother automatically says, I've created yet another culinary masterpiece in my kitchen. I have put my heart into the preparation of your meal. I hope you appreciate it. Eat up. Because Leo's, moon in Leo's mothers do not just fix dinner, they create masterpieces. Everything is an absolute splendid thing. It has to be put on with proper plates, sitting down. Everything's got to be organised. The actual presentation of the meal is sometimes even more important than the actual meal itself. People with the moon in Leo, from your mother's point of view, will actually buy a roast chicken from the deli, bring it home and put it into their bowl and present it to the table as their own and say that I prepared this creation for you. So they create meals. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it's the actual presentation that matters more with the moon in Leo. So if you have moon in Virgo, your mother, checking the packet's food values, will say, everything in this meal is healthy food, so clean your plate. Virgo moons are very concerned with the actual food values. Is there enough protein? Is there enough vitamins? Are you getting your roughage? Whatever it is, if you're counting carbs or whatever. So they are concerned with providing, again, a variety, because Mercury is the ruler, a variety of actual foods that will create health and build health, and the Virgo mother is concerned about that. So you may actually end up with some like green smoothies or some strange vegetables on your plate, and she will encourage you to eat those, because for her point of view, for her to care and nurture for you is actually coming through in the details there. So moon in Libra mother, she will be sitting opposite you on the table watching. I'll make a deal with you. If you eat your veggies, we can have cake. Now, interestingly, because Libra is a sign that wants to partner with somebody else, you work in pairs generally if you have planets in Libra, and that moon wants to say, well, let's make a deal. I'm going to sit here and watch you eat your vegetables because really it's the healthy thing to do, and then I will give you cake, because Venus is the rulership, with the rulership of Libra, actually rules sugar and all cakes and treats that you will get. So the Libra mother will be happy to give you a treat if you eat your vegetables, and that will have been how she provided food and nurturing for you on the table. So moon in Scorpio mother, whilst watching you closely, says, don't waste that. People in the world are dying of starvation. Eat up. So when I was a kid, we heard this a lot, that there were people who didn't have a meal and we should be grateful to eat the one we have in front of us, which is fair enough. But the point here is that because it's Scorpio, Scorpio is a sign to do with waste and purging, and there are pressures to not waste. So if she's prepared something where maybe she's got to peel a potato, that potato skin is super thin. There is no waste, and leftovers will be eaten if you have a mother with a moon in Scorpio. That's just one of their things. So if you have a moon in Sagittarius, your mother says, I'm trying a newfangled recipe. What do you think? Oh, please have some more. I made plenty. In fact, there is enough so I can take what's left to the big hall meeting later tonight. So moon in Sagittarius tends to overcook. They try new recipes. They like different culinary styles from around the world. Every meal will be a mystery. I had a friend who had this, and her mother would cook a different meal every single night. So she never knew what she was going to get when she went home, whether it was going to be Indian or Chinese or what have you. And there was this excess of food created for the, it's not necessarily the group dynamic, but so that it could be shared with her people who she went on her travels. And she would take more to, like, the church fete or to the meeting, PTA or something in the evening. There would always be extra available. So this is a total contrast to Scorpio, where there were no leftovers, everything got eaten. And with Sagittarius, there are leftovers. And you may even find that you've got a fridge full of last week's things and last Tuesday's whatever's in their fridge as well. It's just the natural way of Sagittarius. And then when the moon is in Capricorn, your mother says, I'm tired of cooking you the same old meals every day, but tradition is tradition. So eat what I say. I am your mother and therefore the food authority. People with the moon in Capricorn have a mother who thinks she definitely is the food authority. She's going to want to make sure that you do eat what you're supposed to, and that she knows what she's giving you is good, because she will be knowledgeable about, again, food values and perhaps what grown children need and so on. So you get this authoritative tone coming down at meal times. Here is your meal. You will eat it. I prepared it. It is good for you. Do as I say because I'm your mother. All right. So you get into the habit of actually just eating what's put in front of you. So moon in Aquarius, mother standing at the door says, I have to dash out to my book club, but you can find something to eat, can't you? There is cold pizza in the fridge. So moon in Aquarius mother has a different approach altogether. She's busy with her life, lots of things going on, not that particularly concerned with whether you're getting enough proteins, vitamins and so on, but generally there is food available, and it's definitely there, and you can help yourself, and independence comes through in this way. So this moon position encourages you to make your very own choices as a young person, to pick and choose what you're going to eat from the variety that is placed in front of you. So you're not being dictated to as you were with Capricorn. You will actually have the choice if you could have mac and cheese or fish or chicken or whatever it is that you're having. And there's a different approach to eating that you take through into your life as an adult as well. And then with the moon in Pisces, her mother says, I have had to sacrifice to provide this meal for you. If you don't eat it, I will be upset. But you only fed you yesterday. So the Pisces moon will create sacrifices, and that if you have the moon in Pisces, your mother will have made sacrifices to provide for you, to provide the meal for you, she gave up her life for you, or whatever it is that's coming through. But there will be a sacrifice coming through in the food choices that you were taught as a child. So you feel obliged sometimes to actually eat what is in front of you, even if you are full or you don't really like what it is. But through early conditioning, you will then continue to eat what is put in front of you, because you know someone had to give up something for you to have that meal, whether it was even the animal itself, but definitely whoever was preparing it. So the interesting thing about these brief insights into moon positions is that when you have the moon in your chart, it does indicate your mother, and it does indicate a lot of things about the food you like as well. Because you were early conditioned by that parent. If your mother wasn't there, it would have been your primary caregiver who actually instilled in you these eating habits. So we have some people, and as grown-ups you end up with, I don't want to say, maybe a weight problem or overeating or something, or eating when your mood is not good, and you go back to the early patterns that you learned as a child. What I'm trying to say in this video is that if it works for you and you are happy with how you are eating and preparing your food, absolutely continue. But if you can take a conscious step backwards and see the conditioning you have every time you sit down to eat a meal, whether it's mindless snacking, eat what you're given, do what you're told, or take your pick, see it for what it is. Because as grown-ups and as adults, you actually have a choice, and you can exchange any, what I would want to call a limiting belief that was instilled in you at the kitchen table when you were young. And it's kind of interesting. We can take this actually even one step further and say that if you are now a parent and you are feeding 3 children who each have their very own moon signs and therefore see you differently, they will also be being instilled by you into eating habits that will last a lifetime. So clearly you can have one child with the moon in Leo and one child with the moon in Pisces, and even though you might be giving them the same meal on the same day, they will have their perception will be different, that she must eat hers and she can pick and choose at hers. So you have all these eating issues that come through, and they're shown and indicated actually in your birth chart. This is a very simple way of looking at how the moon can influence you both through the pressures from your mother and through your eating, and how a persuasion has been brought in to deal with it. That I would also like to go on and say that if you are struggling with dietary issues or eating too much or whatever it is, you can look to your moon position, look to the actual conditioning that you had about food, because the moon indicates food anyway, and see where is your moon placed by sign. You can then take it one step further and see, well, what are the aspects coming to my moon only from the other planets? And if you have challenging aspects, you may find that more difficulties there, or if you have soft aspects, you may find that you just mindlessly snacking, and they will be showing the actual habits that you have regarding food and eating, which is shown in your moon. So there you are. I hope that this has been insightful for you, and that you can start to look at one of the other planets in a slightly different way. We all know our sun signs, and now this is an opportunity to start to get an inkling of how the moon could even affect you by its placement in a sign, and what it could even mean for you as an adult 30 years later. You're still eating the same things, you're still doing the same things, or whatever it is. So yes, thank you very much. If you liked my video, please do subscribe, and I'll be back soon for the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.